Hello, my name is Marilyn Harper, and I am a teacher, a trainer, a facilitator of the Channelers Academy and Holographic Healing. I am also co author of the book Double Digitology and a divine link for Adironnda and the Council of Light. I also have the Channeler's Method and several other things with my business partner, Joy Roby. I just wanted to talk with you just a little bit today about the things that I do and how to help you develop your own intuition. This is called Channeling 101, if you want to title it or anything like that. But first, let me tell you a little bit about Adironnda and the Council of Light. Where shall I start? I guess I should start at the beginning. In the 90s, I was a normal person. I was deacon in the Christian church. I was selling advertising for a country western radio station. And then I had a major transformation in my life. Some would call that a walk-in, but it was just a huge change. An awakening, if you would, an awakening of who I truly am. And I started doing guided writing, automatic writing, and I was told in my guided writing that I would be teaching people to channel, and I would be channeling beings that are not presently in this dimension. Well, I thought, I don't think so. I mean, I don't believe in that at all. I was deacon in the Christian church. Channeling was not a part of my belief system. But as I read the book, I think it was Out on a Limb by Shirley MacLaine. You may have heard of that book. It's about channeling and the messages that she received from her channeling. When I started reading it, I thought, this is sacrilegious, and I threw it away. Unusually enough, it kept showing back up in my car, in my bookshelf, somewhere, because I guess the universe, source, God, whatever you want to call that energy that's within us or outside of us, needed me to do a few different things. So in 1999, I was notified, or the Adironnda attempted to get my attention. And I was a little stubborn. I don't know if any of y'all are a little stubborn about the messages that you receive and you don't believe them, or you don't connect with them, or you think, I don't know what this is. This must be my ego. But that's who I was. And they actually played my stereo every day at 4:44 a.m., even when I unplugged it. My stereo would come on every morning at 4:44 a.m. with rock music on it. Now, I listen to National Public Radio. I don't listen to rock music much. So it was really unusual for that to happen. And that was a part of my awakening experience. Finally, after months of trying to control my stereo, I asked, what is this? Why am I awakening at 4:44 a.m. and who's trying to get my attention? And that was when, within a few days, I began channeling. I channeled Adironnda and the Council of Light. Adironnda is the spokesbeing for a council of 12 or more. They are a multidimensional being, specifically from the 17th dimension. I didn't even know there were 17 dimensions. Science has now proven, I think, 13 dimensions or 14 dimensions. But there's 144 dimensions totally. And Adironnda came in immediately in 1999 and said, we are sent from Source as a messenger to help all the people of this planet feel what it feels like to be held in total and complete, unconditional, or infinite love. Well, that's a pretty big order. Then they said that I was an activator and that I would be activating people in groups and that I would bring with me a council of light. Well, that was pretty lofty for me at that time, I have to say. However, that was 1999. So in the past 23, 24 years, however many years, I have been developing that and have been working with the Council of Light, which is made up of archangels, Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, ascended masters from this planet, Master Yeshua or Jesus, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin. All of that energy that came in was truly about the development of what we are here to do. Today, I'm going to share with you some tips, techniques, and give you some exercises on how you can develop your own intuition and, if you choose, be able to channel or become, as Adironnda calls us, the divine link for your guidance system. I'm also going to activate your pineal gland, your third eye, and your intuitive software. And I am honored to have with me today the Master Randy Luna. And he's going to play some activating music while I do the activation. I want to tell you a little bit about Randy Luna. He's a professional composer. He composes songs for Broadway shows, for shows in Branson, Missouri, where I live, and is a master at encoding the music that he plays with the intention set for that music. So he'll be coming in just a little bit later. But in the meantime, I would like to just give you a few tips on how you can work with your own intuition. It is so exciting to realize that you can live 24/7 with your intuitive gifts. But one of the things that block our intuition is really the old stories that we keep telling ourselves or keep telling other people or share with other people. So many times when people have a traumatic event or a challenging event that happened in their life, they get so caught up in telling the story that becomes a part of their identity. I'm sure many of you have stories like that. Oh, yes. I remember when I had that car accident and it was so horrible. I was in such pain and I know what the jaws of life look like and blah, 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 blah. Did you know, and this has been scientifically proven, that every single time you tell that story, the cells of your body, the cells of your field, which is like 26 feet across, the cells of your mind actually believe that you are experiencing that situation again. It's wild. I mean, Harvard University, several scientific institutions have actually studied what happens in the human form when you tell stories that really no longer serve your highest good. And what they've found is there's the exact same synapses in your own neural pathways in your brain that cause you on a subconscious or even conscious level to believe that that is happening again right now. Now, when you listen to the story from someone else, or you listen to their traumatic story, the surprising thing to me is that every single time you hear a story from someone else, your brain actually starts searching through its memory banks for other aspects, memories that you can associate with that or your friend's traumatic event. So I just want to make sure that you understand what happens when you're listening to traumatic events, where you're speaking about traumatic events. Your brain is creating that situation or looking for things to associate with it. And when your brain is that active trying to associate with old stuff that no longer serves your highest good, it is so activating so loud or so loudly that you cannot hear that still small voice that is called your intuition. So one of the things that we would ask you to do in developing your intuition is to tell your story 3 times. That's it. Just 3 times. Tell the story once to get the story out, to express the feelings and everything about it yourself. You could even write about it, because that, the heart speaks to the brain, which speaks to through the hand. You could even write about the traumatic event and all the feelings with it. Then tell the story again to your friend so they can empathize with you and they can associate with that and they can feel like they're living that trauma too, if you want. And then tell the story that 3rd time to be done with it. And then don't tell it again. Unless you're using it in your own teaching as an example. And if you find that even using it in your own teaching as an example, if you're a teacher or a speaker, if you feel the slightest twinge of emotion connected to that example, then you can't tell a story any longer, because that twinge of emotion is causing the synapses in your brain to believe that you're experiencing it again. I hope you're following what I'm saying, that your stories, your old programs, your old traumas, they rear up, ignite your ego. And your ego is kind of like a Xerox machine. It can only spit out what you have already put into it. So in your stories that are rehashing old traumatic events, old programs, old input that's in the negative, that's when you really want to stop telling those stories consciously and subconsciously. That gives your intuition, your innate ability for your intuition to really give you somewhere to go. It really helps your ego be still. That's one of the things that we teach in the Channelers Academy, is to help your ego be still. And so you can hear the voices of your guides, your higher self, and your intuition. So understand that is a very big exercise that you can do in practicing when you hear yourself telling stories that no longer serve your highest good. Even if, your friends or your relatives, tell us what happened. It's like watching a violent action movie over and over and over again that stimulates your own adrenaline. And that's really not effective for that still, quiet voice of your intuition. Another thing that you can do is to be aware of where your intuition really comes from. This is where my programs come in, because as I was doing some research the other day, there's been actual new research done in the past 3 years. Since COVID started, really, it may have started in 2019, but there's been new research. Before 2019, before 2020, scientists believe, heart math, heart math, they test the energy of the human form. They test the magnetic field of the earth. They test the magnetic field of your own intuition. And they've said in the past that your intuition connects from your heart into your brain. Now, since COVID, maybe it's because the scientists had way too much time on their hands, I don't know. But they did more testing and they found out that there's a synapses of electrical current that happens in your gut. You know the term gut reaction? Now, I do have to tell you just a little bit about my response to gut reaction. When I was a child, we were not allowed to say gut. We had to say stomach or abdomen or intestine or other body parts, but we were not allowed to say gut. I don't know where my parents got it. We were also not allowed to say gosh or golly or Jiminy Christmas. Who knows? But therefore, every time I say the word gut, I feel a little catch in my energy field. That's how deep those programs of your past can still affect you if you allow them to. I know, take a deep breath on that one, right? Your programs that you learn when you're a child, when you're a baby, that you learn inside your mother's womb can still be coloring or filtering your present reaction, can still connect with that present energy, just like the word gut still has a little catch in my system. Now, how do I avoid that? Well, you go back into your own Akashic records. If you don't know what the Akashic records are, they're a record keeper for every thought, word, situation, conversation, experience that you have ever had from the inception of your soul until now. It's my information and Adironda's information that everything repeats every 7 years until you get it. So even if it's in a past life, the emotional response still repeats into this life. And you can go back into your own Akashic records, which is a topic for another time, and then you can reprogram that. And so I've been working on the word gut. It's the part of the body that is the abdomen, which is a very natural part of the body. And doctors even call it your gut. So gut. So now I'm done. I'm ready to move on. Anyway, back to the intuition. Your gut response actually has an electrical frequency that trips, that has a little snap, a synapses of energy with an intuitive thought. That is what they've discovered in the last 3 or 4 years. And that intuitive synapses, that electrical current, is exactly the same current that happens in the heart and the brain. I know, we thought it was just the heart and the brain, but it starts in the gut, in the abdomen, in the part of your body that holds your intestines, your stomach, your pancreas, your spleen, your bowels. All of those parts are held into a cavity or a container, as it were, that when it is, that cavity, that gut, is actually developed at about 5 weeks of age when you are in your mother's womb. Now, the interesting thing is that is also when the brain starts developing at about 5 to 6 weeks of age. Another interesting fact is the fact that the membranes, the cellular membrane that is formed and surrounding and holding the brain, is the exact same cellular membrane that is in your gut. I know. Who knew that there is a specific connection in the tissue, the natural innate tissue in your gut as there is in your brain? Now, the interesting thing is that it goes through the heart. So the first electrical synapses, if you were to time it out, which this may happen in less than a second, but the first electrical current or synapses that happens in your gut, your abdomen, happens, then it moves into the heart, and there's an electrical current there in specific portions of your heart. And then it moves to the brain, and it connects to a very specific point in the brain that is very near your cerebellum or your brain stem, and it connects through that into your pineal gland. And then the pineal gland is the smallest gland in the body. It's about the size of a pea and looks a little like a pine cone and is kind of reddish, burgundyish, grayish in color. And sometimes, if you are able to see inside bodies, which is one of the things we teach in holographic healing, you can sense or see a little white dust on the pineal. That is a calcium deposit that is actually blocking you from that current that goes from your pineal into that section of your brain, which we would call your intuition. And that section of your brain that would connect you to your channeling software or hardware or whatever you want to call it. It's a section of your brain that allows you to hear, sense, feel messages from other sources besides your own ego or even your own higher self. It allows you to enhance the messages from your higher self. I mean, the human body is the most amazing creation in this dimension. I firmly believe that. To think that the cells of our abdomen are directly connected to cells in our heart and are directly connected to the cells in our physical brain. That's why they now say that we have 3 brains: your gut, your heart, and your brain. So what happens when you have that intuitive thought and you've not been telling yourself all these wild stories so you can hear that intuitive thought? The brain actually sets it to language. The brain actually puts interpretation on it and puts words so you can then define it and speak it if necessary. Now, one of the things that you get the opportunity to understand is that when you have that current of an intuitive thought that happens so immediately you're not even consciously aware of it. When you have it, it goes from your abdomen, your gut, to your heart, to your brain, to be able to interpret that. That becomes the frequency that your brain interprets and sets language to it. It is so amazing how this works. Then, when you are channeling, that frequency gets stronger in your gut, in your heart, in your brain, and it starts sending out a signal beyond your own physical field, which is, again, 26 feet across, and searches for like-minded or like-frequencied energy, which is how you attract beings from the light to your own energy field. Now, I can hear some of you saying, well, what about beings from the dark? Well, once you set the intention to only attract beings from the light, then you have to trust that that is so. You have to trust that in that energy, you connect with that. You can also ask for confirmation. And with that confirmation, it comes to be very, very clear when you are on the right track, when you are receiving messages from the light, when you are connecting with those messages from the light, when you are altering your frequency to be all that you are. When I started down this path, I did not believe anything. I was raised in Kansas, but I have lived a lot longer in Missouri, which is the show me state, than I ever lived in Kansas. And I found that in that energy, I just asked for signs that my logical mind could understand. I asked for signs that my consciousness could understand. And surprisingly, I started seeing multiples of numbers. 111, 1111. I'd look at the clock, and every time I looked at it, it would say 1111 or 444 or 333. And I'm like, what is this about? And as I said earlier, at 4:44 a.m. every morning, my stereo started playing rock music. They were getting my attention. And that's when I began channeling. Then, of course, I asked for conscious signs in the physical form besides the numbers. And I saw a feather. So a feather, when I am on my right path, is my sign that I am where I'm supposed to be and doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Now, one of the things that you can do to confirm your intuitive thoughts that would be ego-free is to ask for a sign. You might do that in your guided writing or your automatic writing and ask your guidance for a sign that your logical brain can understand. I started seeing multiples of numbers. I asked for the confirmation of a feather. But, when I started channeling, when Adironnda and the Council of Light very first came in, they actually started showing me these multiple of numbers, and they said, pay attention to the numbers. So if you were to connect to the numbers, say maybe you start seeing 111s, and you look at the clock and it's 1111, and you look at a license plate and it's 111, or you look at a clock and it's 111. What does that mean? Well, let me tell you. So 1111 or 111, multiples of ones mean you're beginning something anew. It's a leadership of a global scale. This is our book. A leadership of a global scale, positivity into the spirit of your own heart. It's a signal of changing relationships. It's a signal that the old karma is not playing into your life right now. Now, one of the things that Adironnda says, and they take into consideration when it comes to the interpretation of the number, is the shape of the number. So you've got, say, 1111, because that's really common. The 1, is standing strong in its conviction and has to be almost defiantly courageous because there's no foundation there, right? A 1 is just a line, no foundation, in most writing, no little thing at the top. It is right there, standing strong, beginning anew for you. Now, as it is beginning for you, and you start seeing ones, ask yourself, what does that mean? What do I need to start afresh? What do I need to begin in a new relationship to myself? What do I need to start to, how can I be courageous in my intention? You see what I'm saying? Now say you see 4:44 a.m., 4:44 p.m., either one. According to some, that's the time that the angels are most closely related to your own energy field. The ascended masters also are connecting with you at 4:44 a.m. or p.m. Now, that is a belief system. That is not necessarily your belief. According to numerology, the 4 is about organization and structure. According to Adironnda, it is about putting structure into your own organization, because if you don't, it's about bringing balance, because the 4 is a bit asymmetrical. I mean, it's got the line on the top and then a straight line like the 1 on the bottom, but it also has no foundation. So if you start seeing, 4s or 44s or 444s or 4444, look at your foundation. Look at the structure of what you're creating. Put some organization around it. Keep it working effectively with you. If you start seeing 3s, that's a catalyst for change, according to the Tibetans. According to the Pythagoras numerology, it's bringing in your ascended masters. According to Adironnda, it's truly about balancing your ascended masters as a catalyst for change. So know that the numbers will also get your attention. So to develop your intuition, just start paying attention. As a matter of fact, this is an exercise that you can do that we teach in the Channelers Academy, we teach it in the Channelers Method, and in the How to Channel Even If You Think You Can't live class. So start keeping a little journal of synchronicities, or a little journal of intuitive moments. For an example, all of a sudden you feel like the need to go to the grocery store. You get up and you go to the grocery store, and then you encounter someone that you maybe haven't seen in years, or someone that you realize that you're all out of such and such eggs and you need eggs, or maybe you meet someone new at the grocery store. So you would jot down intuitive thought of going to the grocery store. And then when you have time to analyze that, start to feel what it felt like just before you had the thought to go to the grocery store. I find that when you really start analyzing it, you may be able to remember or sense that feeling in your gut moving through your body and being interpreted in the brain. I know when I've had intuitive thoughts, I've worked with this exact exercise enough to where I actually discovered that an intuitive thought, it is interpreted in a very specific point in my brain. And when I hear the words there, I know that is something to pay attention to. Now, as I've developed this, I've discovered that it has transformed in the last few years, that it has become actually a feeling kind of across my shoulders and up to my head. So I recommend really analyzing what it feels like when those intuitive moments occur, because that's the first stage to activating your channeling software. It's the first stage to connecting with that software and developing that communication with your own intuition. So, you know what we'd like to do right now is to bring in the master Randy Luna. And Randy Luna is the most amazing composer I have ever met. He is, according to Adironnda, he has the ability to put notes together in such a way on the piano that it creates an encodement of energy within you. How cool is that? And so he's going to play. Well, I'm going to activate, we're both going to activate your own intuitive muscle, your own energy field, so you can indeed create this energy. Now, let me say to you, if you are sitting in your office or in your living room or bedroom, that's fine. Take the stuff off your lap and just relax. If you're driving in a car while you're listening to this, do not close your eyes. You can listen, but don't pay attention to the screen or close your eyes because you're driving a car, okay? So, now, take a deep breath. We know that we're all cleared and sealed and divinely protected. We know that only energies from the light can possibly enter. Now take another deep breath. And as we do, we just relax our bodies. We relax our mental body, our physical body, our emotional body, and our spiritual body. Now take another deep breath and just open the chakras in the bottoms of your feet and send your energy all the way down and anchor your energy at the center of the earth. Take another deep breath and bring that energy up from the center of the earth. Just fill your body with love and appreciation for all levels of your guidance or your oversoul. Nice. Now we're going to draw your attention to your abdomen. You might even place a hand on your abdomen. You know, your abdomen, your gut goes from your stomach below your rib cage down through your second chakra, your solar plexus to the second chakra. As you place your hand there, we just ask that those intuitive connectors in your gut, in your abdomen, are ignited and highlighted with ease and grace and love and compassion, and the awareness that is yours to be aware of. Now bring your hand to your heart. Just touch a few fingers on your heart. That draws your attention there. Nice. And we just allow that intuitive energy from your gut to activate the intuitive energy, the intuitive cellular structure in your heart. You may feel your heart getting warm. You may be able to sense its natural beating as it pumps blood and oxygen through your body. With your next deep breath, we're going to raise that intention and connect directly into your brain. Through your brain stem, your cerebellum at the back of your brain, and into your pineal. The pineal gland, where if there's a little white dust on it, we're just going to dust it off. And we activate that pineal. We clarify that line directly from your pineal gland into your third eye. If you feel like there's a blockage in your third eye, just everything is intention. Reach up, grab a hold of that, and let it go. Snap your fingers to let it go. Just feel those elevated energies from your gut, your heart, into your pineal and out your third eye. We allow that internal software of your own intuition, wherever it is centered in your brain, your heart, and your gut, to be activated to the highest level possible that is in your personal highest good. We allow the notes of the music to permeate your frequency to activate them perfectly within you. Take a deep breath and allow that energy to settle perfectly in your brain, your heart, and your abdomen, activating your intuition with divine perfection for you. Take a deep breath and just sigh it out. Take another deep breath and sigh it out. We are so grateful for all of our thoughts, always. We love you. We see you. And we bid you namaste. 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 As you open your eyes. I know now we're a little dreamy as we're coming back into the energy. But I would really just like to thank Randy Luna for providing us with this activation. I would also like to thank the Earth Keepers for providing this platform. They do amazing work. I would also like to thank you. I would like to thank you for spending this short time with us, learning a little bit about your own intuitive techniques. Practice those exercises. Keep a little intuitive journal. Learn all you can because your intuition is one of your innate abilities. Thank you all very much. I appreciate you. I love you. I honor you. And I bid you namaste. Namaste, y'all. Namaste.